Hello, and a very warm welcome, as always, to another session of the Change Exchange, where we talk about moments of change in people's lives. And I find these conversations fascinating because I really get to walk people through their history and look at those hinge moments when either a decision, a choice, or circumstance just shifted your path in another way. And if you listeners, viewers, if you think of your own life and those moments, they are the crux of what shapes us. So today, singer, songwriter, coach these days, an author, someone with a worldwide audience, Nianell. A very warm welcome. I've interviewed you before, and I'm so glad to see you again. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ruda. It's wonderful to connect with you again. And yes, isn't change just the one constant that will always be there?
Well, the first major change, I think, in your life was when you went from being Sonia Nel from Windhoek.
Windhoek, that's right. I was actually born in Omaruru, but I was raised in Windhoek, yes. I went to school there.
And then came to Pretoria, studied music, and became Nianell. How did that happen?
That was a big move. You know, Ruda, I thought that if I go to Pretoria and I study music, it will take me maybe a month or two, and then I'll be very famous, and then I can go back home to Namibia. And I very quickly learned that overnight success takes 15 years. So it was a big change for me because I was very sheltered in a way. Didn't know the big world, and believe it or not, South Africa was a big world for me compared to Namibia. Now we know that South Africa, you know, is actually a tiny little place, but it was a big step for me. And but I enjoyed interacting with fellow musicians and artists, and I was in a hostel with drama students, so it was incredible. I believe that change, if you've never been to a different country or a different place, every time you go to a new place in the world and you eat the food of that place, you actually eat and become aware of the consciousness of that place, and so you expand and you grow. So yes, I love growing, and I'm very thankful that I had the courage to move to a different country and study.
Do you remember the first time you, probably on a stage, I'm guessing, you knew that this is what you want to do with your life? Was there an interaction with an audience or something that just said, yes, this is where I belong?
You know what, Ruda, I'm going to have to be honest with you. The very first big concert I did to launch my first album, Who Painted the Moon, I stood on the stage and I thought, this is terrifying. I absolutely don't know why I'm doing this. I am so scared. I am terrified. I don't know if this is what I am supposed to be doing. Why did I get this huge voice? Why do I write songs? Why do I love music so much? I have never, in the beginning of my career, felt that this is where I belong, that this is what I'm.
So why, if that's the case, what drove you? What made you sit at the piano and keep working at it?
Well, you see, the main thing is that when I was 6 years old, I already sounded like an adult when I sang. So I had this huge voice. It was so clear that this is what I was going to do, and I was so musical, and I wrote this music, and I love music. I breathe music, but I was terrified of people. So being on stage was terrifying for me, and this is what actually led me to the real journey of my life, to what I really am passionate about. So from that first moment, I realized I want to sing. I love singing, but it can't be like this. It's got to feel better. It's got to be different. So for the last, I'm 49 years old now. So for the last, 30 years that I've spent in the music industry, what I focused my intention and attention on was to become comfortable with who I am, with my talents, with my gifts, and to go on a stage without feeling so terrified, to connect with human beings, to feel that connection with myself, with other people. And that was the thing I was passionate about. That was the thing that I thought, I can't live without doing this, learning about myself, learning about other people, sharing this with them, encourage them to find their own magnificence and find their own beauty and find their own potential. That is something that I could not live without. And today, as I teach classes and I give courses, I know this I can't live without.
Yeah. It's a giving of energy. But I want to take you back. It's been a hard journey, as you say, 15 years for overnight success, and then
some more.
At the same time, you had.
And then some more.
What was that? But Who Painted the Moon became an international success. How did you experience that, to suddenly be on stage everywhere? You went to Japan, you went to Russia, there were international audiences.
I remember when I wrote this song, and this song came to me within 20 minutes. It was such an easy, simple song. And I didn't even want to put it on the album. I thought, no, this is too simple, And I was encouraged by Benji Moody, who was the first label that signed me. And he said, no, we've got to put this on. And in fact, let's call the album Who Painted the Moon. And I said, okay, if you like the song so much, it's definitely not probably what I think one of my strongest songs, but let's do it. So what I learned from that was that there's truly magic in simplicity. It's often the times that we don't really try or put effort in that things flow, So for me, it was a surprise. I remember one of the biggest festivals I went to. This is the first time I went to a festival, and I saw all these people, and I was wondering who they're coming to see. And then they told me these people are here to listen to Who Painted the Moon. And I must tell you, it was a bit of a surprise. I was like, I didn't even know that the song just, everybody just loved that song so much. What that has taught me is that there's magic in simplicity.
And did that make a difference that night when you went onto stage? Or if it was at the festival, it could have been, 9:30 in the morning? I don't know. But did you start trusting your link with the audience?
That was a process, Rita. Yeah. That was a process. And I think today I'm in the place where I truly understand the power of trusting your audience, of trusting humanity, trusting human beings. We have to have faith in each other. I'm not saying trust people blindly, but with discernment. But what I really mean is believe in your audience. Have faith in them, that they will understand what you're bringing them, that they will be open to receiving it, And when you can have that faith and that belief in the people out there, that's truly when things open up. And that is a continuous journey for me, I think. We often lose faith in each other. We often say, oh, this world, everything is just going crazy and wrong. I think we're in a new era where we have to learn to believe in the potential that people have, that we must have trust that people will be able to change within themselves and embrace positivity, embrace life. If we do not have faith, if we do not have faith in each other, how can we create change?
And that the innate first impulse is a kind one, a good one. There's a wonderful book that I'm reading, Humankind, which spells that out over centuries of our history. I was also listening to bits and pieces from My Beautiful Escape, your latest album, and there's so many influences and so many different sounds. How did that come about? Where did you meet was it other artists that influenced you? How did it happen?
So I believe that music is like a nice potjiekos or a stir fry. It's amazing. every time I compose, I like to put in different elements and different feels. And this album was produced by Byron Kunz, and he lives in Australia currently, but he's a South African. So we actually recorded that album in 2 different countries. And I think we love bringing world elements into the music. For me, I love a spacious, big sound that almost makes you feel like you're floating amongst the stars. And the melody and the messages is very important for me. So I never really want to take away from that. My Beautiful Escape was my last album that I released, and I'm currently working on a new album called Shine, and we're going to use similar elements. I love playing with different sounds and different aspects of music. So for me, I find great freedom within sound.
But I find it fascinating that you have this big voice, as you say, stretching 4 octaves. But on this album, you do almost like beatboxing at times, and things sound like bird calls and completely different other sounds.
So here is the thing, Ruda. Since I was a little girl, I could hear vibrations and frequencies. I can hear them within people's bodies. I hear them in the planet. And so now, when I turned 40, I settled within who I am and my abilities. And I decided, I'm going to live this. I can do this. I can sing people. I can hear their songs. I can hear their vibrations. And so I've started to do that more and more and more. Currently, I'm giving meditations where I actually sing the vibrations that I hear in the room. And so sound is incredibly healing, and the world will wake up to it, because we are all music. We are all, each and everybody, every single person is a song, is a vibration, is a frequency. And I feel so blessed and privileged to hear these vibrations. So this is what I'm doing in my music. I sing the frequencies and the vibrations I hear, and it's been reported to me that it is so healing. It is so comforting. People find such serenity and peace within these frequencies. Do you know how powerful music is? When you were maybe as a teenager, you heard a song and you fell in love with that song. And somewhere in your 50s, when you hear that song again, you're in that moment again. It takes you back to that moment. It reminds you of a specific moment. Music has memory, and it triggers the memory within you. And so when I use frequencies and sound, I take people back to places, not even just confined to this moment in this time. I take them back to wherever they've remembered that frequency and that vibration, and assist them in releasing what no longer serves them, and just to align them with the magnificence of what they are a part of.
How did you go about entering that field? Because it sounds as if that really is your focus at the moment, healing and coaching and the meditations that you record, etc.
How can I not go into it? I mean, it is who I am. And I believe that it is so important that we are true to who we are. So you asked me, how did I feel on a stage the first time? It wasn't me. But now when I walk on a stage, it's me. I am truly honest with myself. And this big shift and this big change was instigated by the death of my mom 9 years ago. And I think she kind of reminded me how important it is to stay true to yourself, how to live your passion, to not waste another single moment hiding yourself. You know, this new song, Shine, that I've just wrote, is about allowing yourself to be all that you are, fearlessly of what people are going to think and say. Allow yourself to shine, and even if it's weird and different to the rest of the world, you are being true to yourself. This is what flows through your veins, and then you just, you know, you can only expand from that place onwards.
Why did your mum's passing away awaken that, or bring you to that awareness?
So you asked me, what kept me on stage? What kept me going on singing? And I was really it was so subconscious, I wasn't aware of it. But when I was a little child, I always had this idea. I got this idea that it was my job to save my mother. And my entire life, I built, because she's just such a beautiful person. She was my best friend. And I, as a child, thought that she needed me to save her. So I thought, if I can become very, very famous and very, very rich, I can give my mother everything that I believe she deserved. So that's what was driving me. And you know, when my mom passed away 9 years ago, suddenly I was left without a cause. I was like, what now? Who am I going to save now? Who am I going to sing for now? Who am I doing all of this for? Happened to me. I realized no one on this planet needs saving. And if there is someone that needs to be saved, it's me. And the only power I have is to save me. I don't have the power to save you or anybody. I can only change me and save me. And when I woke up to that, it was such a wonderful, wonderful shift in my life. And I started doing what I loved. And I started doing it for me. And the more I started giving to myself, the more I had to give to other people. The more I had that I could share with the world. The more joyful I felt, the more of service I could be. And so for me, that was the big shift and change.
Did you go out there and look for courses and modalities, if I can put it that way, or did you just go inside and find it from here?
I did. When my mom died, I suddenly got this great desire in me to understand what I was hearing. Because I could always hear very interesting, strange sounds. Even my very, very first album, if you go listen to it, I'm doing strange tones with my voice. My second album was called Angel Tongue because I could hear these vibrations, I even hear languages. So when my mom died, I had this great need to understand me and what I'm hearing and what this is. So I took courses, many courses. I studied. I became a ThetaHealing master and certificate of science. I did courses in brain gym. I did courses in sound healing and sound therapy, so that I could understand this gift that I have and truly, fully live it out to its potential. So yes, I did many and I also got my PhD in metaphysics. I did a lot of studying, but I can truly tell you, after all of this, I've learned a lot. But the wisdom, the knowledge is truly within each one of us. So after a lot of studying, I actually realized, stop, become quiet, go within and access what you already know.
Yeah, but I think it's a combination of the two. Absolutely. You need one needs the kind of objective knowledge and then integrate into yourself.
Yes.
You've also put your thoughts and your development into 2 books. What was the first one?
It was called, I actually wrote it in English because I write in English. You know, since I was little, all the music, all the writings comes to me in English. My mom used to say, do you even dream in Afrikaans? And I was always wondering, why do I receive this? Because I'm 100% Afrikaans, but why do I receive this information in English? And I started understanding a lot more when I started doing coaching, because I realized I'm teaching to the world, you know, and this lockdown was actually so amazing because we are teaching not just in our own countries now, we are accessing people from all over the world, and everyone sort of understands English. I mean, I've done courses in Russia, but then I had a Russian translator. So it's really incredible. But I mainly write in English. So my first book was called Knowing Who I Am. And it was translated into Afrikaans, Om te weet wie ek is. Now, that book, I think I told you before, Ruda, when you write a book called Knowing Who I Am, you're almost inviting the universe to say, okay, let's see if you do. And it was really a big shift for me, that book. It took me another almost, I think, 8 years before I wrote another book, because I was a bit nervous, like, oh my goodness. Because once you write something down, it's almost an invitation to see if you can live it, if you can be it, you know.
Yeah.
And so this, the second book I wrote, which I just launched last year, is called Life Simplified. And I love practicing that. So it's not such a big challenge as knowing who I am. What I've learned from my first book is that I've discovered that I don't believe that we can ever truly know who we are as human beings, because we are so much more than that. Every person you meet will introduce you to a different part of you that you've never met before. You know, they will introduce you to parts of you that sometimes excites you, sometimes makes you fall in love with yourself, and sometimes people will introduce you to parts of you that you will go like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I had that in me, you know. And so I am on a continuous journey of knowing myself, and I think we are all eternally getting to know ourselves. And
but that can only happen if you allow it, huh?
Absolutely.
If you cling to your safe box, which consists of your views of the world and whatever, then
you'll only know that. Then you'll only know that.
Yeah.
But if you're open and willing to open your heart and to other people, you will be surprised to find out how magnificent you are. And you know, the secret lies in being in full acceptance of all of the parts that you get introduced to. You know, release the resistance. There's parts of me. My 3 daughters are now 13 years old. They've just become teenagers. And so I'm being introduced to parts of me that I didn't know exist. And sometimes I have to sit there and go, you know what? It's okay. I was just my mom now, or I was just my dad now. And, you know, can I love that part of me? Can I accept it? And I literally one day sat outside there and I hugged myself and I was like, it's okay. It's okay. I love you. I love you. It's okay. And so I am so thankful that I have this understanding that every part of me that comes out here in this journey, in this physical body, it's not really who I am. It's just parts showing me lessons and helping me to learn virtues and to just grow and become all I can be.
Let's talk about the personal side, your family and so forth. You are with a permanent partner now for 5.5 years.
Yes.
I won't ask the detail, but I will ask what attracted you, what makes it work.
I told you how sensitive I am to sound. And I was at this big event about 5.5 years ago. It's, you know, the Starlight Classic concerts that they give there in Cape Town. It's so beautiful and it's outdoors. I remember I arrived that evening and I was standing there with my big rucksack, ready to go to my guest house. And I heard this voice behind me, and this man said to me, "Can I help you with your bag?" I haven't even seen him. He was behind me. And when I heard this vibration of his voice, I was like, I know this voice. And then it was very dark and we walked to the car, and I just remember feeling so safe with this person. I haven't even seen his face yet because we were walking, it's outdoors. And when I got to the car and I saw his eyes, I just recognized him. And I know this man. And we are so in love, and people often wonder if this kind of love is possible, if it is possible to find this kind of love that doesn't fade over time but becomes stronger and blossoms and bloom. And I believe that this is one of the reasons why we met each other, so that we can assure people that this is possible. But this is only possible when you are embracive of yourself, when you are in acceptance of yourself, when you are in allowance of yourself. Because what you are emitting to the world, if you are emitting an energy of fear or doubt, of lack of self-love or lack of self-esteem, you will attract people into your life that will reflect that to you, that will mirror that to you. So he was such a wonderful affirmation to me that I have finally reached a place in my life where I am open to grow, to love and accept myself, because he's so gentle with me. He's so kind with me. He's truly helped me to fall in love with myself. And I feel so blessed. I'm blessed. I every day say thank you, thank you to Source, to God, to the Creator, for my children, for this beautiful man, for my life. I want to cry when I talk about my life. I have fallen in love with my life. And I believe that we can all feel this. We can all experience this. And this is why I'm so passionate about what I do. Because, you know, this feeling of being in love with yourself, being in love with another human being, being in love with life, this is why we came here.
What do you mean?
We came here to fall in love with life, with ourselves, with each other. And that is why when you miss out on this, when you're not experiencing it, you keep thinking, something's missing. Something is missing. You know, and this is what I love about my workshops and my courses. I help people to get to that place where they can fall in love with themselves, with other people, with life. We are meant to be in love with all of who we are.
But it hasn't always been easy or smooth sailing for you. You got divorced from the father of your daughters. What did that process, because divorce is always a really horrible, it feels disastrous, I'm sure. What did that teach you?
For me, it was the greatest blessing in my life, because I'm so thankful for that experience, because I had so many limiting things that I believed. First of all, I believed that if I do something that other people do not agree with, I will be punished for it. But it was so subconscious. So when I did get divorced, when I finally, after 17 years of being together with this man, which is a wonderful man, and I still love him very much, he is a fantastic father. It took a lot of courage to leave a good man like that, you know, because there was nothing wrong with him, but there was nothing really right with us. You know, we were like strangers to each other, and we actually got divorced because we love each other. We got married because we were afraid of being alone. We were so afraid of being alone. And you should never make a decision and a choice in your life based on fear. Your decision should also come always from a place of passion, love, you know, from a place of positive. So if you make a decision from fear, it is not going to serve you or somebody else. It took a lot of courage for me to file for divorce. And one thing I didn't keep in mind was that, yes, my supporters wasn't very happy and accommodating with this decision. I was a little surprised that they were so angry with me. They told me I'm the worst mother on planet Earth, and you know, God has written me off. And when I received these messages, I felt almost like, oh, I've let so many people down. Again, my focus went to the other people. With my mom, it was about her. And then here it was about, and somewhere deep inside me, I had this belief system. Whenever I do something for myself, okay, no one is going to accept it. I'm going to be punished. Things are not going to go out right for me. And for quite a while after my divorce, I experienced punishment. I felt like I'm being punished for making a decision that I felt in my heart was the best for me. And I had to clear these limiting beliefs. I had to really work on myself and get to a place where I can say, no, I have a right to choose what makes me happy, even if the entire world hates me for that. I am not responsible for them. I'm responsible for me. I'm responsible for my own joy and for my own happiness. And I cannot be of service to anyone if I am not happy.
Talk to me about your daughters. I want to go back to the beginning. Do you remember hearing the news that you were expecting 3?
I do. So, being a very intuitive person, I always knew that I was going to have 3 children. And I knew for sure that 2 of them are going to come together. I knew this because even when I got married, I bought a double bunk bed, and I've told all my band members and everyone I knew, I've always told them I'm going to have 3 children, and I'm hoping they come together, but I knew 2 was definitely going to come together. So when I knew I was pregnant and I went for my first visitation to the doctor's rooms, we went and she said, okay, you're going to expect a baby in about September. Let's go and do a sonar. And she was looking in there and she said to me, oh, there's the little heartbeat. And she says, wait, there's two heartbeats. And I went, yes, because I knew that. And then she said to me, wait, and I was like, I hope she didn't make a mistake, because I knew there was going to be 2. And then she says, I'm hearing 3 heartbeats. And then I was a little bit quiet. I was a bit quiet for a while, and you can see it's not an easy thing for me to be quiet. And so I listened to her for an hour telling me all the complications with giving birth to triplets, But I was so excited, I didn't really listen to her. And then I came home and I phoned the entire planet and I told them, I'm going to have 3 babies at once. And I'm so excited. And that evening, I started remembering everything she was telling me about what could go wrong in this high-risk pregnancy. Because I became pregnant naturally. And I started getting fearful. And the very next day, a cousin of mine sent me a link, and she said, tonight on TV, Discovery Channel, there's going to be a program on In the Womb. And it was so fascinating because I watched this whole program about the miracle of birth. And there was twins and triplets and quadruplets, and you watch the whole journey. And at the end, this guy said, no matter if it's 1 baby or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or how many, this remains a miracle. And it is not really in our hands. And in that moment, I just surrendered. Area in my life that I've just trusted. I said to myself, I'm going to do my best, but I'm going to just let God do the rest. I'm just going to let it be as it is. I really trusted. And that area of my life has always been so easy. It's just flowing. So my lessons in life is to bring that trust into every area of my life.
And now that they are turning into teenagers, how have they changed, and how is that changing your life?
There's a lot of changes here in our home because, when I brought a new partner in, there's changes, and on their side, they have a lot of changes because their father got married with 2 little girls, the woman he married's got 2 little daughters. So there's been so much changes, so many changes for all of us. And definitely something also shifted when they become a little bit older. And every change that happens is a friend because it introduces us to another part of us, And I feel that we went through lockdown, one of our biggest changes, because my partner moved in with me. And it was a big change in our home. And I received a little bit of resistance from my daughters. And I looked at this and I was like, I was first of all a little angry about this resistance. How can you not want me to have this beautiful man? You love him, you talk to him, you know he's so good for you guys. And then you see, I realized that they were afraid that he's going to replace them. But then a magical thing happened, Ruda. I realized that because of this mirror and this reflection theory I have, I don't believe things happen to us. I believe we create them. I'm going to say that again. Things don't happen to us. We create them. So when I received this resistance from my children, I sat down and I thought to myself, okay, let's see. Where are you in resistance of this change in your home? And I realized that I had a lot of resistance. I mean, being married for a very long time, there's things that you resist, things that you don't want to bring in, things that you don't want to happen again. And so I sat down and I looked at all my own resistance regarding this man moving in my life again, becoming part of my life again. And I started clearing all my resistances, you know. I cleared, and I thought, no. And, you know, and I was also even telling him, I said, you know, I was thinking about all the things that could go wrong. And I was telling him, and then after I was telling him, and then he said to me, and have you thought about all the things that could go right? You know, and then that's how wonderful he is. And as I cleared the resistance in me, my children just released their resistance. And this is one of the most powerful techniques I want to invite the whole universe to do. Whenever you receive any form of resistance or triggers or anything, have a look inside. What is going on in you? Because you are attracting it. You are calling it into your life. My 3 beautiful little girls has taught me so much. They are my greatest teachers. You know, my firstborn will always tell me, she loves to challenge me, you know, so I give many, many courses, and she will always come up to me, and especially after this one moment where we had this little, you know, this little resistance things happening. In that time, I was giving a relationship course. And I created this beautiful manual, and my manual was lying there on the table. Now, my little girls were feeling that I am not choosing them, and, you know, and that, you know, so they were feeling that we are having problems. And my relationship manual was lying on the table. And she came up to me, and she takes the manual and she shows me, and she says, "Are you teaching a relationship course?" And I said, "Yes, I'm teaching." She says, "How can you teach a relationship course when you're not good with relationships?" You know?
Oh, dear.
and I looked at her and I said, "You know what, my baby? When we want to learn something, okay, we go take courses. But when we want to master something, we teach it. So I'm not saying that I've got this right. But I'm telling you, I'm doing this because I have such a great desire to get better and better and better of it." So I've learned to answer her. She really brings out all my own little stuff for me to look at, you know. And they have taught me about teamwork. The 3 of them came together. And I believe that this is also the era that we as a humanity are moving into now, is teamwork. We have to be there for each other. We need to connect. And these 3 little girls really know how to do that. Because when they stand together, it's like a hurricane, and I stand no chance. Teamwork is powerful.
So what is the one thing that you hope that they will take with them? The one thing that you would really like to teach them? And, well, it will have started already, of course, they're 13. But the value, the groundwork that you want to convey?
I know that I can't, with my words, teach my children really anything. Mm-hmm. But by who I am and by my being. And I want to be the person that I would love my children to become. I want to show them that I am worthy and deserving of happiness and joy. That I choose myself first, because I understand that when I am whole and happy, I have so much more to give. I want to show them that I'm kind to myself. I want to show them that I'm gentle with myself, that I'm tolerant and patient and forgiving with myself. I want to show them that it's possible to love yourself and accept yourself, even if you've lost your temper, even if you've done things that's not truly who you are, that you can accept that, you can be kind and embracive of that. Because I know that if my children can embrace themselves, if they can love and accept themselves, that they will be able to conquer anything out there in the world. And that is the one thing that I would like to leave with them. But the only way I can do that is by being that.
Mm-hmm. Nianell, thank you so much. I think that's an absolutely lovely note to end on. And I can see that with the big birthday coming up next year, new changes, new shifts, And all of the very best. And you have so much to give. Thank you.
Ruda, it was a blessing connecting with you. I always love talking to you. You're so beautiful. So continue to introduce the world to this information and help us all to connect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for watching wherever you are. Enjoy your life. We've had wonderful messages from Nianell today that we can all take to heart. Goodbye until the next time.